Okay, we're rolling.
All right, this is a home interview in Norwich, New York. It is the 17th of May, 2006. Approximately 10 a.m. Interviewers are Wayne Clark and Mike Russert. Could you give me your full name, date of birth, and place of birth, please?
Richard Mason Ellinwood. June 2nd, 1924 was my birth date, and I was born here in Norwich, New York.
Okay. What was your educational background prior to entering service?
After high school, I went to the University of Michigan to study pharmacy, and after 2.5 years or so is when I got called to active duty. But I was in the Naval ROTC at the University of Michigan, which led to being able to get a commission.
All right. Do you remember where you were when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
I remember it well. I was at school in Ann Arbor, Michigan, but we had gone into Detroit on a Sunday night to go to some entertainment thing. It was musical entertainment. I can't remember just what it was. And that's where I was when I learned about it.
What was your reaction when you heard about this?
Worst news I'd ever heard.
Mm-hmm. Now, being in the Navy, Navy ROTC program, did you know where Pearl Harbor was?
Yeah, I mean, after they told me it was the Hawaiian Islands.
Okay, all right. Now, why did you select going into the Navy ROTC program?
Well, right after December 7th, excuse me, I wanted to enlist,
Mm-hmm.
but my parents talked me into staying in school as long as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And so at least I thought I would get some basic military training by being in a reserve unit, and I liked the Navy better than I did the Army. That's why I went to NROTC.
All right. All right. After you went into the Navy, you had the basics already.
Yes.
Where did you go?
We had training cruises on Lake Michigan.
What kind of ship were you on Lake Michigan?
It was a World War I destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now, what did you do aboard the ship? What was your responsibilities?
You mean on that? In
Yeah.
the training ship?
Yeah.
Well, they taught us stuff and so forth, and I think they also got us used to what a seaman does, like scrubbing decks and washing pots and pans and everything like that, you know.
Okay.
But it was a good learning experience. So.
Where did you go from there?
After I was commissioned in February of 1944, I was assigned to a destroyer Escort, the USS Brough, B-R-O-U-G-H, based, excuse me, out of New York, and we convoyed, or escorted convoys to England. And I did that twice. I was only on that ship for about 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Did you make contact with any German subs or
No.
anything?
Fortunately, we did not.
Okay.
Describe convoy duty. What did your ship do on convoy duty?
Well, you'd have a convoy of maybe 50 to 80 ships, cargo ships, big ships, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there'd be 6 or 7 escort vessels out in front of them, probably half a mile to a mile, and they would all be zigzagging, you know, and with their sonar equipment running to see if they could pick up any contacts with submarines, and that's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you where did you take the convoys to? What was your destination?
Well, their destination was England,
Mm-hmm.
but when we got in the Ireland range, some British ships came out and relieved us, and we went into Londonderry, Northern Ireland.
Mm-hmm. Did you any shore time there at all? What was that like?
Very nice, I liked it a lot.
Mhm.
I
How
re-
were you treated by the Irish people?
Oh, very well, yes, yeah.
Okay, so you had 3 months of convoy duty. What was your next assignment?
After that, I was assigned to anti-submarine warfare school in Miami. And I was there for about 2 months, and then I went to a similar school in San Diego, California.
And how long was that school?
It was just a little over a month.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What was your ship assignment after that?
After that, they sent me back to, I came home for leave, and then they sent me back to San Francisco, and assigned to this ship, the PC-462. It took us quite a while to find it. I was aboard troop transports, you know, going to the South Pacific, and I don't know, it took about 6 weeks to find the ship. They'd been on invasion duty. They'd been all over out there in the South Pacific, and but anyway, I finally caught it.
Mhm.
And
Now, patrol craft didn't have a name, just the number?
that's right.
Mhm.
It was a PC-462.
Mhm. Now, how large was the crew?
About 65 to 70.
And what were your duties? What rank were you, and what were your duties?
I was gunnery officer and supply officer.
Mhm.
Were you a lieutenant at that point, or
No,
still
not
an
then. I
ensign?
was still an ensign.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what was the highest rank on the ship?
I think the skipper was lieutenant commander. Yeah.
Okay, what kind of armament did the ship have?
The biggest they had was one 3-inch gun, and they had a dual 40 millimeter and 2 or 3 20 millimeters.
Mhm. Now, could you drop depth charges and so
Yes.
on for anti-submarine?
Yeah.
Okay. What were your duties and what duties did the ship have while you were on it?
Well, when I joined the ship, they were preparing for the Okinawa invasion. So we were down in Guadalcanal, in that area, staging. And then we went north, and then we escorted convoys up to the invasion, troop ships, up to the invasion site, which was April 1st, 1945. And we were there for almost 2 months at Okinawa, and our duties while we were there, being a small ship, we were easily maneuverable. So we would deliver mail. We would go to where the mail was received and deliver it to ships in the area, that type of thing.
Did you see any kamikaze attacks while you were there?
Yeah. Fortunately, as I said, we were a small ship. They wouldn't pick on us,
Yeah.
but yes, we did.
Did your ship ever engage or fire its guns because of that?
Yeah.
Were you there for that typhoon that struck Okinawa, or did you leave before then?
We left before that. I don't remember the date, but I know what you're referring
Yeah.
to, though.
Yeah.
And from there, we went, excuse me, back to Pearl Harbor. But in one of the ports we were on the way across the Pacific, like the Ulithi Islands or Guam, you know, it was after the typhoon, and I remember seeing an aircraft carrier come into the harbor with its flight deck bent right down that had been through that typhoon. Quite a sight.
Okay, how long were you on PC-462?
from February 6th to September 29th. And while we were in Pearl Harbor, the war ended, and we had tentative orders to go to Japan to help with the settlement of things over there. And then at the last minute they changed our orders, and this ship was a fairly old ship, and they decided to decommission it. So they sent us to San Francisco.
Now you went on another ship then?
Yes. After the ship was decommissioned, I had a little leave, and they assigned me to a PCE, which is a little bit bigger, patrol craft Escort. And they thought it was in the Pacific, so they sent me back to San Francisco. And I got out there, and they found out the ship was going through the Panama Canal to the east coast of the United States. So they sent me right back to the east coast, and this ship was in Charleston, South Carolina. So I spent from March until June of '46 on that ship. And then
Well, what did you do? What did the ship do during that period of
they
time?
didn't do anything really. No, they were tied up at Charleston, and we might have gone out once or twice just to exercise the ship maybe. We really didn't do anything.
Okay. Do you remember where you were when you heard about the death of President Roosevelt?
No, I can't remember where I was.
Did you have a reaction to that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think he was admired by many, many people, even those that weren't a Democrat. And it was a sad occasion, really.
Where were you when you heard about the dropping the atomic bombs? Do you remember that?
I'm not sure. I think we were... That's when we were coming back to San Francisco, and I was at Pearl Harbor. I think that's where I was when that happened.
What was your reaction to the atomic bombs? Do you recall that?
Well, my first reaction was, I'm glad this is going to get the Japanese to surrender. Then when you started hearing about the casualties, it made you think twice a little bit, but at least it ended the war.
Did you, where were you when you heard about the end of the war?
Right there in Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor. What was the reaction there?
Oh, that was great, big time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. When were you discharged?
I just had to have a date.
Okay.
On June 4th, 1946.
All right. How did you get back home? Where were you discharged and how did you get home?
In the 3rd Naval District, which is in New York City. I think I took the train home. Yeah.
Okay. Did you keep in contact with your parents while you were gone?
Oh, yes.
On almost a regular basis?
Yeah.
Okay. After the war was over, did you make use of the GI Bill at all?
I did. Yeah.
How did you use it?
I went back to the University of Michigan to finish up.
Okay. Did you ever use the 5220 Club?
No.
Did you ever get to see any USO shows at all?
Yeah, a couple. And that was when I was looking for this ship out in the South Pacific, and I'd be on an island for a while before they shipped me to another place, you know. And I did see some shows.
Do you remember did you see any big name stars?
I don't remember any big name stars, but they were very entertaining. They were good.
Okay. Did you join any veterans organizations?
Veterans organizations?
Yes, sir.
I have been a member of the VFW, which I'm not now, but I still am a member of the American Legion.
Okay. Did you ever stay in contact with anyone that was in service with you?
Yes. I'm still in touch with the fellow I was with on these PCs, lives down in Pennsylvania.
Did you ever get to see them? Or?
No, haven't seen him. Well, I went to his wedding, which was many years ago.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him since, but we correspond.
All right. Did you have any events while you were in the Navy that you thought left an impression on you that you want to talk about?
I guess the first thing that comes to mind is the strength of our military and the Navy. And the Navy always appealed to me because I liked the water, I liked being on ships and so forth. So that was an impression that I liked about it.
How do you think your time in the service changed or had an effect on your life?
Well, I think it makes me proud that I was able to serve, and that's the most I would say about it, I guess.
Do you think you ever would have been able to travel as you did?
No way, no, I didn't think of that. Yeah, I mean, I got to travel all over the world.
Yeah, you got to see both the Atlantic and
the
Pacific.
yes, right.
Okay. All right.
Did
Oh,
you
yes,
want to
would you hold that
hold
up?
that
So,
up?
now, that's the first patrol craft. You were on
Yeah, that's
462.
The BC 462, yeah.
Do you know when and where that was taken? Or?
No, I don't. I know the ship was built in Texas.
Do you know when it was built? Was it built pre-war or?
Yeah, it was pre-war. I don't really remember when. I would have just take a guess. It was probably built in the early to mid-30s.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.